Give them a shot to do what?
Yeah, and that's why I'm banned from every Fuddruckers in the Midwest. On this episode, we are going to talk about the good, bad, and fugly from week 3 as we head into week 4, starting tomorrow night, Thursday night game with, I believe, the Cardinals and the Miami Dolphins. Me and Bert will, up until yesterday, his Yankees were kind of sweating, but he has nothing to worry about now. But I got to sweat a little bit about my Mets. But we'll talk about some of the other wild card stuff in MLB. And then heading into week 4 of the NFL, some other NFL questions. And you know what, guys? You guys beat me down in the comments. I'm going to give the Eagles, somebody from the Eagles deserves an apology, deserves some credit, and I'm going to give it to them. All that and more. Next. Sports. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports, presented by the Give Us a Shot Network, powered by Fast Break Coffee, and sponsored, as always, Bert, by the haters.
And they are plenty with you out here with your hot takes for Eagles, you know?
I mean, not really hot takes. It's called the truth. And everybody knows we have a monopoly on the truth out here on Stuff About Sports. Sometimes people don't like, this notion, it's funny. We had this argument last week about like the reigning defending champions. I keep seeing the Eagles on top of these power rankings. But like, if you're watching this season and take into account this season, you're not going to tell me the Eagles are the best team in the NFL this season. But these guys in these comments are like, oh, we're 19-1 in the last 20 games. What does the last 16 games have to do with this year? Like, isn't this evidenced by the Chiefs, who are 1 and whatever, the Ravens, the Colts, who are 3-0? Like, and this was my argument with, there's no such thing as reigning defending champions. Like, the Eagles are getting credit for being Super Bowl champions, and they shouldn't. There's 4 or 5 teams better than them. And there's probably more if you wanted to get into the weeds and get into like the nerd stats of like DVOA, which I'll get in there. David Burns, what's up, man? But these fans that get, oh, what's Josh Allen's record versus Jalen Hurts? Oh, Jalen Hurts beat all the guys. You know who up? Hey, Zach Wilson is 2-0 versus Jalen Hurts. So I guess Zach Wilson's better than Jalen Hurts. You guys are, and I get it, man. The Philadelphia literacy rate is like 50%. Their education rate is like 70%. You guys are fucking idiots over there. So I don't have any crayons. I don't have any pop-up pictures or anything else I can actually like show how dumb you are. But take my word for it. Take my word for it. Because your literacy rate is only 50%, my shirt, shout out to my homegirl Danielle Norman, her balcony podcast she's coming out with is coming up soon. Fuck around and find out, and we can do that at any point. So shout out to y'all in the comment section. Keep it going. Your tears are like PEDs to me. Bert,
you got that out of your system? Yeah, right.
I know. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Bucket of doom time.
Huh? What'd you say? Yeah,
bucket of doom time. Yeah.
I probably already got myself in enough trouble as it is, so let's just go ahead and do the bucket of doom. Bucket of doom. We had some hilarious things happen this week. Dwayne Marcus wanted a better matchup, so he wanted the ability to keep his first helmet if he didn't like his second pick, which is something we usually don't do. Like, once you throw your helmet back, that's it.
That's it.
But he said if he got to keep his helmet, and then he won't get another redo until like the game after Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving weekend or whatever it is. So we let him pull another helmet, and it landed on the Browns. So we rolled with the Ravens. Ironically, Bert, plot twist, the Browns fucking won. The
Browns won, the Ravens lost. So it was unbelievable.
Lost twice. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So how the turned have tables. So Dwayne Marcus, God bless him, stuck with his first pull all the way out to Thanksgiving. So just a quick recap. The only people with W's this week were Bert and Mike. Bert had the Commanders one handily. Mike had the Seahawks. The rest of us took L's. So Bert's 3-0. Mike is 3-0. Corey's 1-2. Dwayne Marcus 1-2. Me, myself, Carl are 2-1, and Mike is Ty is 1-2. So I thought Ty picked up a dub, but he had the Cowboys who lost. I should have known better. So let's do the first drawing. Bert, nice rummage. The Seattle Seahawks.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna throw that back immediately. I want a new helmet.
Gotcha. You know what? Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Bert, new helmet. The San Francisco 49ers.
Got the Jags this weekend.
Corey, the Denver Broncos. Dwayne Marcus, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
There we go. Head to head.
Me, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Looking decent.
You said who?
They're looking decent.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Carl, the Atlanta Falcons.
Oof.
Mike, the Chicago Bears. Finally a good game out of Caleb Williams. Ty, the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders, please block somebody. I mean, for the love of God, Ashton Genty needs some help. He needs some help blocking. And so those are the picks this week. Let's see who the Steelers have before I
Raiders have the Bears, so Mike and Ty are head to head as of right now.
Vikings at Steelers. Ooh.
The very smart man that he is throwing the Falcons back.
Oh, who? Carl? Yeah. Let's throw the Falcons back for Carl. Carl. Now that's the Buffalo Bills.
Nice.
Excellent work by you. Playing the Saints. I'm going to throw the Steelers back as well. Oh, my God. For the Miami Dolphins. Playing the Cardinals, but it's the Dolphins. And
are they? No, don't they have the Jets on Monday night?
Oh, do they? They're wearing their Oh, I don't know.
They have the Jets on Monday night.
Okay. Are the Cardinals playing Thursday? Maybe I have that.
Cardinals are playing Thursday. They have the Seahawks.
The Seahawks. Okay. So the Dolphins are playing the Jets Monday night. Ugh.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
Ugh, yucks. Dolphins wearing their new rivalry, their black uniform. So that'll be pretty cool to see on Monday night. So we'll see what happens there. But heading into before we head to week 4, Bert, let's do some week 3 stuff. Let's do good, bad, and fugly for week 3. What is your good?
This was a tough one. Do I do it just for the week? I was like, all right, the Bears had a good game. And then, honestly, the showdown between the Cardinals and the Niners, although defensively sound, I thought was a pretty decent game to watch. But I cannot get the Colts out of my mind. And I had to go just congruently because last week I don't think we did a full good, bad, fugly. We kind of jumped right into it because it was a later show. But, I have to give credit where credit is due. And the Colts are unbelievable right now. And say what you want about Daniel Jones. And I know he's got some better quarterback statistics than he's had in this past year. And we know it's certainly not off the totality of him under center. However, you cannot take away in the fact that, you have Jonathan Taylor absolutely going on a tear. Michael Pittman Jr. is a fantastic option for Daniel Jones. And it just seems as though he may have been the missing link that team need for a sound offense. Now people can look and say, oh, well, I mean, they've had an easy schedule so far. Yeah, sure. But to the same effect, like you cannot dismiss that they're putting monster points up on the board and everything seems to be gelling for them. So they actually get my good for this week.
Awesome. I'm hard to argue with you there. My good for this week's going to be the Minnesota Vikings. If you remember, Bert, you guys laughed when I said, hey, one of my bold predictions was Carson Wentz was going to come back and show people, and he played really well. But honestly, it had nothing. Not that it had nothing to do with it, but because I am always knowing, I figured Carson Wentz would do well in that system. But it was really the defense, and we all expected them once JJ McCarthy went down, or not really. Like once JJ McCarthy kind of looked like the rookie and not like the savior that we thought he was, we were expecting like playoff golf plans to be made in week 2, 3 for the Vikings. And they went into Cincinnati and just mollywopped the Bengals team. Granted, they don't have their franchise quarterback, but This was just, another masterclass from Brian Flores. And they didn't just win, they bullied them. Like this,
Yeah.
and here, and again, I'm not a big stat guy, but I just wanted to highlight their defense. They had 3 forced fumbles, just in a half. And then Isaiah Rogers, who a month ago was just a guy on the depth chart, had 2 defensive touchdowns by himself. He had the 87-yard pick six, and then the recovered fumble that he ran back for 66 yards. So uh, Isaiah Rogers by himself had more touchdowns than the entire Bengals team. So their defense only gave up like 170 yards. Again, Jake Browning, probably not the guy that's going to hold it down for, at least getting the Bengals to 500. So, our prediction of Joe Burrow probably sitting out the whole season because the Bengals aren't going to stay alive is probably looking pretty good there. So, yeah, it's for me, it's the Vikings. So.
Yeah. I mean, look, keeping in that same trend, because if we're moving to the bad, my bad this week is the Bengals without Joe Burrow. I mean, and look, I mean, your point about having a defensive game for the Vikings, I think we'll take a little bit of credit, but obviously not overshadowing in the fact that without Joe Burrow, the Bengals offense is just in shambles. It really is. And look, they don't have the deepest of weapons, but to say the least, I mean, you would expect them to at least put up some type of a fight, and it just didn't happen this week. So, looking at all the games, they have to get my bad this week because, as you just mentioned, we would have hoped that they would have had some type of notion to stay alive so that there is an incentive for Joe Burrow to return and hopefully go on some type of tear to, jostle for playoff positioning. And then, of course, bring a championship to Cincinnati. But it doesn't look that route whatsoever. And who knows, maybe they bounce back week 4. But overall, they were very bad this week.
My bad is NFL's field goal kickers, all of them. Like I'm not saying that the league should start giving out like participation trophies. I know the CFL does, like if you miss a field goal, you get a point if it goes back behind the end zone. This was like a Hall of Shame performance. Like it's not only just the missed at not even far distances, but the number of blocked field goals. So like not just the kickers themselves, but the special teams. Fox Sports Research said it was the most blocked fourth quarter field goals since they started tracking that stat way back in '91, Bert. So just something to put it in perspective for some of you guys who were alive back then. And then of course you had the game winner in Philly by Jordan Davis, so which kind of capped it and put everything in perspective. So yeah, we've already seen kickers cut. The Falcons cut Younghoe Koo. And then
the Giants signed him.
Yeah, you said who?
Didn't the Giants just sign him too?
I don't know who just signed him, but the kicker they signed to replace him then missed 2 field goals in the next game. So after Koo missed 2 field goals to cost the Falcons the game. So it's just field goal kicking overall is down. Something tells me this is like the Giants did sign him.
Giants just signed him yesterday to the practice squad.
Yeah, I have Brandon Aubrey from the Cowboys. The only good thing about the Cowboys, and he got me like 17 fantasy points last week, so I'm pretty happy with that. What's your Fugly?
Oh, I mean, can we look anywhere beyond the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah.
I mean, they have shown up and just. I mean, did they even show up? They didn't put any points on the board. It was an abysmal showing altogether. And it was honestly just tough to watch. And, against a Panthers team that obviously isn't the best too, but you would think, coming off of a loss, right? Or didn't they lose last week or win last week?
The Falcons.
And nevertheless,
yeah,
anytime you get shut out, not even showing up to piss a drop, it's just never a good look. So to me,
they lost real bad week 1. They beat the brakes off the Vikings 22-6 last.
Oh, that's right. But week 1 they got like completely spanked, right? Yeah. So yeah, look, look no further than the Atlanta Falcons for my Fugly this week.
My Fugly is going to the Dallas Cowboys. It's not just badness. It's like, you go to Chicago and just get the brakes beat off of you, like real bad. It was 31-14, and by Caleb Williams, who after looking like he's never played football before for the last season and some change, you made him look like he's been playing football for, professionally for 10 years. It was terrible. Um, Without CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys aren't good at literally anything, Bert. Like they're just not a good, they couldn't get anything going. Gave up 31 points to an offense that had been struggling up until this point. And Dak Prescott, who right now is the most expensive investment on the team, gave up 2 interceptions, one really bad one in the red zone. And like the roster is supposed to be like a Super Bowl run, but I'm having a hard time watching them without CeeDee Lamb and justifying a playoff spot for Dallas right now. So it's my Fugly is definitely going to Dallas Cowboys. They got to figure it out because they're talking about winning the division. How they think that they're on par with the Eagles. Like forget all that. Like they need to figure out how to beat a team that for all intents and purposes they look like a practice squad out there. So they need to come out and figure it out for the next couple of weeks before.
Well, I think this week was a defining week for them. They had week 1 where there was zero expectation. They were going up against the reigning Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles, on a Thursday night to start the season. And without Micah Parsons, everybody thought that Dallas was just literally going to get blown out. That didn't happen. They made it somewhat of a competitive game to open the season, which is fantastic. Week 2, you roll in, you play the Giants, I think the Giants actually played in Dallas. That one was a back and forth where the Giants almost won. So some individuals were looking at that as Russ finding his groove, and maybe the Giants are more competitive than we thought. But this week being the true teller, getting completely smacked around by Caleb Williams in Chicago, I think just goes to show that Dallas's offense is only good against shitty defenses. Insert Giants here. And then their defense is just as exposed as everybody thought it was going into the season too. So I don't know how people can honestly look at that roster and see how they're playing and think they're even going to compete for a division or even a playoff spot at this point. And I take nothing away because the struggles that Caleb Williams had, I don't think it matters what team he was going up against between the play calling, between his accuracy. Honestly, it just felt as though that he got into a rhythm finally, which I think a lot of Bears fans wanted to see eventually. So it'll be interesting going into this week to see if he keeps it up or if it truly was just against a bad Dallas defense. But, overall, the Cowboys are not it this year. And I know we're only 3 weeks into the season, but I don't know what more of a sample size we need to know that the top of that division is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles.
Maybe we'll see.
It is. It is.
I mean, we'll see what Washington is. Once Jaden Daniels gets healthy and they get it all together, we'll see what Jaxson Dart does. We're getting to Jaxson Dart here in a little bit. Actually, no. We're done with Good Ben Fugly. Let's get into Jaxson Dart. Let's get into Jaxson Dart right now. Bert, fair or foul?
Yeah.
Starting Jaxson Dart week 4. Is this the right move?
Yeah, 100%. Look, I know on last week we were talking about let's see how the Chiefs game goes. If it was competitive, then keep Russ in. And then we were thinking 4 or 5 if the Giants continue to lose, and especially going against the Chargers this upcoming weekend, we're kind of figuring that's also going to be a loss. So the idea was, hey, maybe we put in Dart when we go to New Orleans in 2 weeks. That is our most winnable game on the schedule in the foreseeable future. But I mean, Russ, 2 picks on the day, 18 for 32, 160 yards. But stats aside, if you watch the game, like I unfortunately did, staying up late for it, it was, I'll say, 25% play calling, 75% game management by Russ himself. And to be in a red zone and to have guys in the end zone and to see him throw away not 1, but 2 passes straight over guys' heads. He's airing the ball out there. He's underthrowing guys, which is what's leading to the pick. So, at some point you've got to look and understand that although we're 3 games in and he had a decent game against Dallas, this is where I kind of go back and I look at Russ in Denver and knowing the ups and downs he had there. And then his last couple of years in Seattle too. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback right now. Take nothing away from his Super Bowl championships and, the fact that, he's a the Hall of Very Good quarterback, dare I say, damn near Hall of Fame. But I think it's just time. And honestly, the Giants front office signing 3 quarterbacks and drafting one within a matter of 2 months this past year kind of led into this whole controversy of who are we going to start. Great, we started the highest paid one, but now it's time to see what the young buck can do. He looks good in camp. He looks good in preseason. Let's see how he manages the Chargers this weekend and grow him. I think it's time for the Giants to effectively grow a quarterback, something they tried to do with Daniel Jones and it didn't work. But I think Jaxson Dart is that guy, and we'll see. And hopefully, Russ takes on that more mentorship role and kind of teaching him the ins and outs. And here's what I love about Jaxson Dart too. Anytime, and there's been tons of talk of starting him, but he was on the sidelines last week, the week before, helmet on. He's listening to the comms. He's going through the motion. You can see it mentally. He's ready to get out there. And now it's proving ground. So we'll see. And look, and if this doesn't work out, put in Jameis. We have fool's gold of quarterbacks at this point. So let's try them all. But I think it was definitely time to sit Russ. You can't always go with the veteran. You can't always go with your highest paid guy if he's just not getting the job done. And this past week proved it. And not for nothing, it's the Chiefs' first win. It wasn't that they won. I think it was how they won, because for the first quarter, we were incredibly competitive. The rails didn't officially come off, I'll say, until the third. But, overall, the offense was continuing to struggle. And I think a lot of it was just Russ's decision-making.
Starting Jaxson Dart is not a bold move to me. It doesn't, benching Russell Wilson is the easy thing to do if you're New York. To me, it's the equivalent of, let's give our keys to our toddlers and saying, hey, don't worry, that steering wheel is for decoration. Starting Jaxson Dart isn't going to fix the Giants' problems, which is why it's foul. It's not the right move, because what you're trying to do, this isn't about Jaxson Dart's potential. I think everybody knows he has a great arm. Everybody knows he's athletic. He was great in the preseason. He lit it up like a Christmas tree in a Hallmark movie. But then you have to think of the college stuff. And it's like, okay, am I going to take a large sample size in college where he posted not so great numbers, like one of the worst graded quarterbacks coming out of college, versus a few snaps in preseason, a few games in preseason, a few series in preseason where he looked like, Patrick Mahomes damn near. And that's what, again, this is this idea of theoretical Jaxson Dart. That's who we're hoping we're getting. Never mind the fact that the offensive line is terrible still. They don't have anything else besides Malik Neighbors. And you're not just giving this guy the keys. You're giving it to a rookie who has some serious issues, and that even though the offense was catered to him down in Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, he still wasn't that great. And think about this. You guys just had Daniel Jones, who didn't win a lot of games in New York. And now he's over in a year removed, a stop in Minnesota, never played. He just suited up and attended some meetings in Minnesota.
Suited up for a playoff game, and then yeah.
And he didn't play, he didn't do anything there. So I can't imagine there's some magical water in Minnesota that makes you a really good quarterback. And now he's 3-0 in Indianapolis, one of the best teams in the league. Statistically, the best quarterback in the league through 3 weeks. I mean, in terms of all the little metrics and advanced analytics they want to throw out there. But this obviously isn't that. If you want to talk about humble pie for the Giants, it's not a coincidence that Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, players who had issues in New York, went somewhere else and had massive success. That's a situation.
Well, the Giants wouldn't pay Saquon what he was worth. So let's not say that there were issues that, well, the only issue is they didn't want to commit to him, which, in all honesty, even if we paid him and he stayed, I still don't think he would have had the same success, obviously, from a Super Bowl standpoint, but even the numbers he put up last year too. Philly just had a better built O-line as well as overall offense for him to flourish, but that's a story for another time. However, I agree with you. It's not going to fix all of our problems, but it's fair because it's the right thing to do at this point, particularly for our fan base that is dying for a change because we're tired of seeing the same old story. So let the kid play and see what we get. But to your point about having his struggles in college and looking back, I mean, need I remind you of the Johnny Manziels and the Matt Leinerts and the Ryan Leafs of the world who do great from a college standpoint, then step foot in the NFL and do nada. So I do think there are some cases, obviously, we look at that there's going to be a translation there from college to NFL. And then there are some where it looks like it'll fit and it won't. Programs that of, an Ole Miss, yeah, why not? But Daniel Jones coming out of Duke, I can see how the translation might not be there. But for me, the sample size is once you're in the NFL. I don't give a shit about college anymore. I don't. I mean, yeah, great. Go to the College Football Hall of Fame if you want, but now you're in the big leagues. You're in the NFL. So if you can play here, if you can start up something good, especially with a New York team that is struggling, why not? Now, I think we've both mentioned this before. You just said it. He's not going to fix everything. And with the O-line problems that we have had season in and season out, it's not going to work. He's going to have maybe 3 seconds to throw the ball if he's lucky. I think a change is needed just to see if it jolts anything. But at the end of the season, I mean, this, we've talked about it before. Joel Schoen and Ryan Dable, this is their sell season, plain and simple. They have to have success. Otherwise, both of them, they need to be gone.
Yeah, they also need to find a way to get Malik Neighbors the ball more than twice a game.
Yeah, he's getting super pissed,
and I don't blame him. It feels like the Giants are doubling down on a problem that they created, and now they're sacrificing Jaxson Dart in a desperate attempt to show that they're doing something, right? Because, like you said, this is Dable and Shine's last chance. They're chasing a spark, but I mean, this could be the fire that kind of burns everything down for them because it's one thing for Saquon to leave because you can hide behind the contract dispute. And I get that. To see Daniel Jones be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
It's painful. It's fucking painful. Yeah.
The Maras, it's got to be driving them nuts right now. And I think honestly, I think the Cowboy game bought Russ an extra week. They probably should have started Dart after week 1. Unless Russ came in and looked amazing, even in a loss. If he had that Cowboy game in week 1, maybe we wouldn't be talking about it. But it's just they need to do something. And you're right, they're going to do it. But I would be cautious. It's not really worth because if you mess this kid up, you're back to square one. And it's instead of just waiting. If you really believe in the kid, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't fully believe in him, and it doesn't really matter if you start him now or not. But
I don't think they're thinking generational quarterback, but who knows? We've been surprised before. But I mean, we can go back to 2 years ago, the decision to play Tommy DeVito and win pointless games towards the end of the season, which knocked us out of a draft spot to potentially get Jaden Daniels and that whole decision making. So you look at back of all these little intricacies and what we could have done better, but hindsight's 2020, and forgive the, terrible expression in this situation, but I don't want to Monday morning quarterback this thing. We just have to focus on the future.
That's very well done by you. The Monday morning quarterback stuff you deserve.
Thank you.
No, not that one.
I'll take it.
Oh no, hold on. Is it gone? Nope, it's right here. Found it.
Kind of like the Law and Order better.
Law and Order is better as I sloppily work my way through that. All right, Bert, this week we have a big game, but not in a way that you think. This time last year or the last couple of years, this would have been a marquee game for totally different reasons. But the Ravens and Chiefs are playing this week. Both teams sit at 1-2, which that means unless we get one of those rare tie games, somebody's going to be 1-3, Bert. Somebody's going to be 1-3. So with that in mind, not who wants it more, but who needs to win this game? Who is a win more important for? The Chiefs or the Ravens?
I honestly, this was a tough one for me because I can see both sides of the ball here, right? So on one hand, I want to say the Ravens definitely, because they need to continue to prove that they're competitive against top teams. But I think I can use that same argument and probably mean it more with the Chiefs. Um, the only team that they've beat so far is the New York Giants, which I mean we all know that's obviously no big feat at this point. But to start the season 0-2, now beat the Giants and be 1-2, going up against another competitive team that honestly it could go either way. But even with the win against the Giants last week, it still did not look cohesive, if that makes sense. So you figure lost to a good Chargers team, lost to the Eagles. I think the Chiefs need to win this against the Ravens for anybody to think that they can be remotely competitive, not just throughout the rest of the season against any team with any solid team. I'll say. I was about to say team with a winning record, but we know the Ravens don't have that right now. But and even into what potentially a playoff picture could look like too. So I think I'm gonna have to stick with the Chiefs on this one, and almost like this is a proving ground game that they are back in it and they're back to their normal self. Because even if they lose this round, all right, you go into Jacksonville the week after that, should be a Chiefs win, but then you go against Detroit, and that I mean, so what you hope by week 5 you're 2-3.
Right.
It's or week 6 rather. It's insane.
Yeah, I wanted to say the Ravens, but then when I really looked at kind of the landscape of it, it's 100% the Chiefs. Well, the Chiefs need to win this game because they are in a real spot of missing the playoffs here.
Hmm.
Because the Chargers, not only are they undefeated, all 3 of their victories are division wins.
Yeah.
And so the race to the division is all but over, in my opinion, because I don't think unless you're of the mindset the Chargers are fraudulent, which I don't think you and I think that. I think the Chargers are legit, and so the Chiefs need wins because now they have to fight for a wild card spot. It's week 4. I get it's early and it can be flipped. I'm just going by the information we have. The Ravens can still win the division at 1-3
Yeah.
because the Bengals don't have Joe Burrow. The Steelers are the Steelers and
Well,
the Browns. And so, like, the Steelers defense hasn't been good. And we've really only, we got one good half out of Aaron Rodgers, or maybe one good game. I'll give him one good full game out of the offense. But you don't look at that team and say, oh, yeah, runaways. Like the Steelers aren't a complete
not
team. Like,
runaways, but I can still call them competitive.
they're competitive in a sense of, like, but again, it's not competitive in a sense of, like, the Ravens can't catch up to them. Like, I don't think the Chiefs can catch up to the Chargers at this point, because now
Mhm.
not only do the Chargers have that 3-game lead, like the worst that the Chiefs can do is tie the Chargers now, because the Chargers already beat them once. So you
Yeah.
can only get one revenge game, and then the Chargers already have that dub against the other 2 division rivals, which they'll probably get again. So in terms of division leads, I think the Ravens can still win that division. Um, the Chiefs have a huge identity crisis. I mean, the Ravens' problem isn't the regular season; they got to figure out in the playoffs. But the Chiefs are at a real precipice of, holy shit! Like, we may be bad. Like, I don't like it. For the first time they just look. I'm not gonna say they look like a bad team. I think they just haven't played well yet. But they're clearly old. Their weapons are also incomplete. Like, you know, they'll get back Rasheed Rice. They'll get back Xavier Worthy. But is that going to be too late by week 6? Will that happen? Like, you know what I mean? Is that going to be if they lose this game, they're one
Yeah.
and three, and then next week you said who they play after this after the Ravens? Who do they play? Um,
Uh the Chiefs.
yeah.
Who did I
Who?
say? Jacksonville, and then they go to Detroit.
So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say Jacksonville can't beat them. Like, I'm not going to sit there and say that's a dub. You can't. Like, you really can't. Not the way the Chiefs have been playing. And I don't think the Jags have been terrible. I think they've been okay. I think you can't. They've been just as okay as the Chiefs have, I guess. But then Detroit, like, you're in a scenario by week 6, you could be 1-5. 2-4. And then heading into Detroit, which is probably going to be a loss unless something drastic changes with the Chiefs or something drastic changes with Detroit. So yeah, I would say the Chiefs need this win more for the sake of their season, until they start racking up wins. Like the division is slipping away from them fast. I'm not going to say it's probably 90. It's probably up in the 90%. Like there's still a chance they can win it. Obviously, it's early, but
Yeah.
I think it's slipping away from them.
It's not
Bert,
it's not there to hit the panic button, but the hand is hovering over it just a little bit.
100%. Yeah, we flipped the little what's that little big red button? They have that little case that's on top of it.
Oh
That
yeah.
protects so you
Break
don't
case.
accidentally
Yeah.
hit it. The case
Yep.
is lifted. Yeah,
It's lifted up.
The case is lifted up. Bert, there's a bunch of 3-0 teams.
Hmm.
Which 3-0 team to you has been the most impressive?
Probably, I know I said this last week, but most impressive because I'm shocked by the Colts. I can't say that I'm incredibly shocked by the Bucks. I'm loving every minute of it too. But I think just given the injuries and battling through, I said it last week, I think the Niners are still the most impressive for me. I think it's one of those things where, and look, as I was humbled last week, they're always going to have injuries. But I mean, to the same point, we've watched teams drop because they've lost a quarterback. Now, granted, Joe Burrow is much, much different than a Brock Purdy, but still, I mean, and then the fact that they just recently lost Nick Bosa too. So, we'll see if it carries on. But to me, I mean, they have to be the most impressive 3-0 team thus far. I mean, you watch the games, the Bucks have dug it out every single week and they just look good. The Eagles, I'm not even going to mention because I don't want to get you started again, but I wouldn't call them the most impressive team. The Bills, same category as the Eagles. You almost come to expect them to be 3-0 at this point in the season too. So, I mean, I'll have to say the Niners. I think you can put the Chargers in that category too, though. But I think it's just because, our expectations a little bit lower at the start.
Yeah. So I guess I'll go with, because when I'm looking at these guys, it's hard. It's hard to gauge. The Bucks are surprising because it's the way they're winning, but I'm not gonna say impressive. Like they've had to dog out some of these wins, which is not really. I guess it is impressive because they're still winning, but
but they should have won by more against the Jets. They let the Jets
100%.
back into that game, so that's why. I mean, look, impressive win overall, but I don't think most impressive out of all the 3-0 teams.
Yeah, because like a lot of these games have been a coin flip for them. Like they're just grinding them out. So they're one bad play or one play away from disaster. The Eagles, I know that's a sexy pick, but like we're talking about like their DVOA, which is like football hipster talk for how a team actually is how good a team is. They're at like 17, which I'm shocked. I didn't think they'd be that low, but they're winning. So I know that like the metrics will scream fraud. I'm not going to call them a fraud, but I think the Eagles have benefited from Super Bowl champ stuff, and it's kind of blinding people to actually watching the games. They've probably put together 3 good quarters of football, but they're 3-0, so you can't say that about them. Chargers, I was expecting them to be a good team. I feel the same way about the Niners, but losing Nick Bosa, obviously hurt them. So that leaves 2 teams, the Indianapolis Colts and the Buffalo Bills. And Bert, got to tell you, the Indianapolis Colts are more impressive.
Damn, thank God. I was like, here we go.
I mean, Josh Allen is like, I'm not shocked. You know what I mean? The Bills 3-0, like once they beat the Ravens, that was impressive.
Yeah.
Like, their schedule was pretty easy. I'm not going to sit there and apologize for having an easy schedule. We spent the last couple seasons having one of the hardest schedules. So the fact that we have one of the easier schedules now tickles my fancy in a good way. So I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to like sit there and, I know people will use that as excuse, but it is what it is. Like they have a 31-point differential. I think they're like plus 25 in turnovers for the last 20 games. Like they are who they've always been. And so, but the Colts, no one saw this coming. They have a 47-point differential. That's insane. They're outscoring opponents by like 15 points per game. Their offense their offense is number 2 in the league in total yards. Their defense is top 5, and Daniel Jones, who has a passer rating of 111, is top 5 right now. So shout out to the Colts. I mean, it's like, you ever have that buddy that was like a C student in high school and he turns out to be like a neurosurgeon at the 25th year reunion? That's what the
Oh
Colts
yeah.
are. They're the guy who, like, this guy used to shoot fucking milk out of his eyes. What the fuck is he? A dentist? He's a fucking
Yeah.
dentist now. Like, it's insane. So shout out to the Colts. That's my most impressive 3-0 team. Bert, most surprising individual performance this season.
Ooh.
If you need time to think, I got one lined up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, not very sexy, but I'm going to go with Torrey Horton. Who plays for the
Who's Torrey Horton?
Seattle Seahawks. You guys thought it was going to be like a flashy quarterback or fucking, you thought it was going to be Josh Allen or somebody. This Torrey Horton had a 95 punt return last week. It wasn't just a run, but that play shifted the momentum for the Seahawks, who sneaky good Seahawks team. And you could visually watch on the replay on the slow-mo, if you go on YouTube and watch like the return, suck the life out of the Saints sideline. Like, it was terrible. It was awful. So, but not only that, the Seahawks special teams, probably the best in the NFL. They've been, and Horton has been kind of leading them. They have the top DVOA, which is like another fancy term I've learned to like justify my arguments, which is defensive adjusted value over average. So it just basically says how much of the team's success is based on these down and distance plays per play. It's probably one of the most accurate metrics to see how good a team actually is versus, based on what they do on the field. But the Seahawks special teams leads the league in that by a lot. So, their special teams all year has kind of been anchoring them. It's like the 0-1 Ravens, but instead of Ray Lewis, it's Torrey Horton in the special teams instead of the defense kind of doing it. Like, anyone can get a big game. Anybody can throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, and everybody just says, yeah, well, that's what he does, but on special teams, it's like a tornado every week. And I think the Seahawks, as of right now, again, heading into week 4 on a historic pace. And so I just wanted to give some shine to Torrey Horton and the Seahawks and their
Nice
special teams.
Yeah, I mean, look, much better pick, because I think I'm going to cop out and probably pick Baker Mayfield Daniel Jones. I mean, also you throw Jonathan Taylor in there too. I mean, you cannot turn the other way for those two, right? So being Baker as well as Daniel Jones. So I think both of them are on track to just continue their impressive streak.
Absolutely. All right, let's switch gears to baseball.
Yeah.
I went from sell the team bozo to Steve Cohen to holy shit, we won. So I was very excited that the Mets were able to fucking figure it out and win.
But they're not set yet, right?
We're not set. We currently now are in that last wild card spot, but I mean, there's still baseball left to be played. I think we're only like a game, so it obviously can change. It's like a day-to-day thing here. So, there's going to be a lot of narratives. There's going to be a lot of fan, stories and a bunch of fan complaining. And I just want to know, for you, like the American League, the Yankees have it, right? Like the Yankees are in.
We've clinched a playoff spot, and we know we're at least wild card, but we do still want the division.
The division is in play for you, so
it is. We're only one. I think we're one game back if everything holds through tonight. We're winning right now, and I think Toronto's losing.
Yeah. So I mean, Yankees, Mariners, Blue Jays are all in. That's the only question there, I guess, based on what you're saying, is the seeding. So the real circus is for that last spot, right? I think right now it's, we have the Tigers, and Scooble clocked some dude in the face the other day. That team.
No, that dude's face got in the way is what it was.
Face got in the way. God, that's like that. So I had my first and last at bat in my baseball career. I was on deck, and Christian Falkenstein was standing. Shout out to the CYU Mariners. That was my team back in fifth grade, and I watched Christian Falkenstein get smoked in the face by a pitch while I was on deck, square in the nose. Blood was everywhere. I politely put my bat down and walked into the stands and sat next to my granddad and said, "Baseball's not for me."
Yeah.
That was my baseball career. I'm getting hit in the face by a ball, and I'm at 90 miles per hour. Uh, the Tigers were up. They had like a 15 game lead. You want to talk about epic collapses? That needs to
From
be stopped.
July, they were what, 15 and a half up, and now they're
Unbelievable.
fighting for a division spot. And they're currently losing right now to Cleveland as well. Yeah, that
Yeah.
pitch to the face yesterday on that missed bunt, 99 miles an hour. And I saw the video, not fully, because the second I saw where it was going, I was like, I'm not watching this. I don't need to see a man's face get just completely demolished by a baseball. It was, I mean, they said he was carted off, but he's alert. He went through some tests, but man, that is, for anybody who's playing youth baseball, that's probably not what you should do to bunt. I know probably
No.
they tell you to watch it all the way through. Just make sure your face isn't behind your bat. That'd be great. Yeah.
That would help. So we have Detroit, Boston,
Yeah.
Astros, and the Guardians. So if you had to pick one, Bert, who do you think's going to get that last spot?
I think Detroit would, to be honest with you. I'm saying that both because I still think they're a good baseball team, but also I would hate for Boston or the Astros to sneak in.
Mhm.
I hate them at this point probably equally. So I mean, the one thing that sucks for them is they need to capitalize on this series against Cleveland, and then I think they finish out. Do they finish out the week against them, or they probably have another set too? Let me just check their schedule really quick.
Yeah. Outside of the Tigers falling off
Oh
completely.
no, they go to Boston actually next, so
Oh,
that'll be a good one. Yeah,
if I had to pick one, I mean, we're picking right now who sucks the least, and for me, right now, Houston does. Uh, on top of the fact that they have all the tiebreaker scenarios, like they have the most tie-breaking scenarios. So if everybody just stays pat where they are, record-wise or games back-wise, Houston's in a really good spot. So I will go with math here, and
yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick Houston. Um,
Let me just because I mean Boston has Detroit,
mhm.
so I mean they're really just affecting your outcome at that point. Man, the Astros. I just want to see who they are up against. Let's see. I mean, they got the Athletics, and then they go up against the Angels. So, ooh, I mean, schedule wise, it might look a little bit better for them.
Mhm. We'll see.
Yeah, I think you might
Uh,
be. I think you might be onto something here.
Hey, we'll see there. We'll see what happens. Baseball's been weird the last month and a half anyway, so we'll
Yeah.
see.
Plus, there are teams that love to play spoiler. You know.
Yeah.
Do you have
Um,
any faith at all? Are you at least peeking in, or would you rather just be pleasantly surprised if you get a notification that says you've clinched?
I would rather be pleasantly surprised because I've gotten my hopes up with this team. I told you last year at the beginning.
Yeah.
I told you at the beginning of this season. I'm not hyping up
Yeah.
this team, um, and I did because we started off red hot, and so I'm not holding on to any because it doesn't matter. Like no matter how well we do, like last night is a perfect example of a microcosm of our season.
Hmm.
We were getting spanked and
Hmm.
nothing was working. And then a couple guys get on base. And then Brandon Nimmo hits a home run. And then all of a sudden Alvarez comes. Like it's just out of nowhere. Guys that aren't supposed to be doing this stuff. And you get dumb shit like Juan Soto losing a ball in a routine catch in the right.
Hmm. He's
It's
been
just bad.
defensively trashed this year. He really has.
I can't believe
Met
it.
fans fight me. I don't care. Like,
So as of Dodgers, Brewers, Phillies, Cubs, Padres, they're good to go. That's
yeah.
one spot.
Yep.
And right now, it's the Mets, it's the Reds, it's the Diamondbacks.
Yep.
So, I mean, if we're being honest, Bert, the Mets are like a walking disaster movie.
I mean, they're getting shellacked right now, 6-0. So,
Yeah, they're my disaster movie. But you see what I'm saying? One
oh,
game
yeah.
lead, the Mets will do something magical like they did last night, and then come out and lose 6-0. So run differential is pretty good. Like they have moments and sparks. It's just for some reason, same story me and you have talked about with the Mets all season. They just can't string it together. Like for some reason, it's sporadic. It just comes in waves with them, and they for some reason. And people look at last year and see how he's like limped into the playoffs and then went on the magical run. Like you can't count on that stuff. Like you can't. And it seems like fans have like for some reason just hung on to that. If we can't be good, as long as we get into the playoffs, we can go on this magical run because we can just turn it on at any time. Like that doesn't happen normally. Like that's what makes it special. And if you're counting on that, then I don't know what to like. That's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for heartbreak. If I had to pick one, I don't think the Snakes have any chance. I'm, they're a surprise team. They've been great the last 10 games or so. So I guess they're a threat, but especially when you only have a 1-game margin, especially now that we're losing. But I'm gonna go with the Reds with some reverse psychology shit. Like if I pick the Mets, the Mets are definitely not gonna make it. So if I pick a team that I think could technically make it, and it's not a bad pick, maybe the Mets will get in. I don't know. But based on everything I'm saying, again, I'm going with math. Reds have all the tiebreakers. So if everything stays the way it is, generally how it works is how it's designed to work, and it's designed for the Reds to get in based on everything we've seen and all the information we have. So I'm probably going to go with the Reds, but they'll sneak in and get dismantled in the wild card round, like they always do. But in terms of getting in, I'm going to go with the Reds.
Yeah, I would have said the D-backs 100%, but hey, we'll see. Definitely not going to be the Mets.
Definitely not going to be the Mets. 100% not going to be the Mets because, the Mets are cursed and they hate me. And, I can never get it right. All right, Bert, who you want to give your game ball to?
I'm giving it to the young buck, Jaxson Dart. Let's go, friend. This is your ball now. Please help us.
I love it. All right, Bert, I know some people think I have some biases when I talk about the Eagles. As a man, I can give credit where credit's due. And when it comes to the Eagles comeback over the Los Angeles Rams, I have to give credit to the one person who made it possible. Someone who has shown through the first 4 weeks, and probably longer than that he doesn't care about the spotlight on a team that's winning. He just wants to do what needs to be done to win. Bert, that player is none other than Jalen Carter. He has been a terror all season. But against the Rams, it was a different level. He had 5 pressures. He hit the QB, he hit Matt Stafford 3 times, 2 sacks and a forced fumble, but the piece de la resistance, blocked field goal, which gave the offense a lifeline. And that sparked that comeback based on the momentum he provided. Now, of course, he followed that up with like a taunting penalty, but hey, you take the good and bad in life, man. Like it's just it's part
you
of the
deserve
deal.
That taunting penalty,
You know what? But he deserved to do the taunting after just having to carry the team on his back. There's supposed to be some other people's jobs on the team. Leave it to the defender to get this team back on track where they were supposed to go. And we mentioned him earlier, but I guess I'll give a piece of the game ball to Jordan Davis for a guy who's 330 something pounds running 19 miles per hour after blocking a kick and then absorbing it and running it back like however many yards. Even though the game was like a game sealing touchdown, not a game touchdown to win the game. But either way, amazing nonetheless. So shout out to Jalen Carter. Shout out to Jordan Davis. True leaders, true winners on a Philadelphia Eagles team that is trying to continue their winning ways. Bert, this was an awesome show, man.
This was great.
Please like, share, and subscribe to us at the Give Us a Shot Network on the YouTubes. Please search for us on the Googles at Stuff About Sports, www.giveusashot.network. Please like, share, subscribe, follow, comment. If you can't do any of those things, I am inclined to believe you are a hater. Next week, we'll probably catch you. We'll see what's going on. We'll talk about which of the terrible whose season's over. Is it the Ravens or is it the Chiefs? I can't wait for that shit. That's
who's going to be 0-4.
Who's going to be 0-4? I'll tell you who it's not going to be. It ain't going to be Buffalo. Bert, you better fucking hope and pray that Jaxson Dart is the man, because I will be coming for that ass if he's not.